What's good, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by DistroKid. They are the go-to for digital music distribution and the easiest way for musicians to get their music onto Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, and more. They offer unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of their earnings, getting your music onto platforms and into stores 10 to 20 times faster than any other distributor. They help with cover song clearance, automatic splits, and they offer all kinds of tools and templates to help you get the most visibility for your releases. I dig this company and appreciate their business model that offers more features and tools than any other distributor while doing it at the most affordable price for solo artists, bands, DJs, studio artists, and any other creators that are making music or producing music in their home, and they offer label services as well. They've got 3 different tiers that they offer to creators that start as low as $22.99 a year. That's just $1.92 a month. And even their top tier is only $7.50 per month. And the best part about DistroKid sponsoring the podcast is they are offering Dan Cable Presents listeners 30% off their first year of service with DistroKid, making their affordable prices even cheaper for you. I will put that discount link in the episode notes. It will also be in my Instagram bio. Big shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this podcast for more than 3 years now. Much appreciated. Now let's get into the episode.
Look down at the
Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Dan Cable Presents podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the program once again. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking out the show. You can find fresh episodes coming at you on Tuesdays. And if you want to help support this thing in a free way, you can do so by clicking subscribe on iTunes, clicking write a review, giving the podcast 5 stars if you feel like it is deserving of so, and that will help propel this thing into the tops of those iTunes charts, giving it more visibility on the national and international levels, helping strangers find the podcast, and just a great way to contribute to the growth and sustainability of this thing. Appreciate the hell out of all the folks that have already taken the time to do so. If you're not listening on Apple, just hit like, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening from. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit subscribe there. And as always, please tell a friend about the podcast. If you're enjoying this thing, that word of mouth thing is still a very powerful thing. Hope everybody is doing well out there. This is it. This is the last show of 2025. Another year in the books for the pod. And episode 461 coming at you this week on the podcast. Judd Harris is on the show. Judd is the owner-operator of Little Griddle here in Portland, Oregon. A great spot to grab some breakfast or lunch. They've got the classics, and they've also got some specialty dishes as well. I always see this insane fried chicken sandwich come out of the kitchen, and it's just this massive piece of chicken. I've never had it, but it seems like it's a staple over there. They've got a couple of locations here in Portland. They've got one in Northeast over off of Fremont and like 42nd, which is the OG Little Griddle. And a few years ago, they opened up a location in Southeast on Hawthorne near the Baghdad and Powell's and Jackpot Records. It's formerly the long-running location of Cup and Saucer in that historic Hawthorne location. But they got the Little Griddle set up over there now, and I go to that Hawthorne location pretty often. It's in the regular rotation for grabbing breakfast. I've got some buds that work over there, which is how I got turned on to it, and that's how I got to know Judd a bit from hanging around there and drinking too much coffee at the counter. And it's just a cool vibe in there. No frills, just solid food. And the biscuits are very lights out over there. But had a great time chatting with Judd and about how he started Little Griddle and just his vision and ideas for starting the restaurant initially, as well as his cooking origin story and what the challenges and the fun of being a restaurant owner is. Little Griddle has been going for nearly a decade now, which is so cool. So many restaurants don't make it even a year or two, but to see the business not only survive, but also to have expanded in that time is very rad. So if you live in Portland, Oregon, and you've never been to Little Griddle, I would suggest that you go check it out sometime. Go grab yourself some breakfast or some lunch and tip your servers well. They're good people over there, and I always enjoy my time hanging out there. And I don't know that we got it into it too heavy, but I also think that this is another inspiring story of like starting your own business, because I don't think that Judd necessarily, had thought much about being a restaurant owner. The thing just kind of happened, like the opportunity just presented itself and he went after it, and he's turned it into a really successful endeavor for himself, which is really cool. I think when you think about business owners, I think it's hard to not think about those people as these maybe coming from money or like having some sort of incredible wealth behind a thing to start it. Sometimes, you just end up in the right spot, right time, and you are confident enough to roll the dice. And like I said, just very cool to see the success that Judd has had in giving this thing a chance. So all the links will be in the episode notes if you want to keep up with Little Griddle, find out what's happening over there. And big thanks to Judd for chatting it up with me, taking the time to hang. And with all that, we are going to get into this thing. Episode 461 with Judd Harris from Little Griddle. Now let's do the damn thing. How you feeling, Judd?
I feel good. Yeah. Are we live?
We're doing it.
We're live and direct.
We're jumping in.
Yeah. All right.
Stoked to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I feel like I got turned on to Little Griddle because of my friend Ayal.
Yeah.
That's how I became aware of the spot. I think I didn't really like realize that for the Hawthorne location, did it used to be Cup and Saucer before Little Griddle?
Yeah, for 35 years.
Okay. Because I went in there one time, maybe 10-ish years ago around the time that I moved to Portland, maybe in that first like few years that I was here, and then I thought it was kind of whatever and never went back.
That's a reasonable take.
And so I was just like, oh, you work at that spot, but then realized it was not.
People still think it's the same. They still think it's the same spot because we took the neon sign outside, and we kept it exactly the same, but like redid, instead of saying Cup and Saucer, it says Little Griddle, but the coffee cup is still there. Right. The colors are the same. Yeah. I've seen people walk by and they're like, oh, what's this place? And they're like, oh, it's okay. It's been here forever. And I'm like, actually, it's fantastic and it's brand new. You know? Like,
different
it's
spot.
Not the same. Yeah.
That's kind of the I feel like that's maybe a common challenge for like a restaurant that replaces a place where there used to be
a similar thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Has that like been any sort of obstacle?
Not too much, except for kind of what I just talked about is like sometimes people think it's the same thing, and I was partners with the woman who owned Cup and Saucer. So like when we were changing it into Little Griddle, she was like, what if we call it Cup and Griddle or Griddle and Saucer? And I was like, nah, dude, we're not. We're just gonna turn the page. You know? But she was a part of it for a few years. She was my business partner for like 3.5 years or so.
Okay. And opening up that one, you already had the one in Northeast.
Northeast,
So
yeah.
there was like some understanding already of like what Little Griddle was.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
Opening up in a new neighborhood.
We needed a real sized restaurant because the one in Northeast is so small.
Yeah,
I
little
mean, that's
neighborhood spot.
the neighborhood spot. That's why we called it Little Griddle, because it's really little, and but it's like a closet basically. There, it lacks the amenities of a real sized restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Was the Northeast location also a restaurant prior to you opening Little Griddle?
It was a sushi bar, and I worked there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's super weird because I also worked at Cup and Saucer. That was my first job in Portland in like 2011.
Okay.
Well, actually, my first job was at Starbucks. I worked there for 3 weeks, and it was trash. So, but I needed a job really bad. So
Yeah.
that was, that was good. They wouldn't let me take home. I was so broke, and they would throw away the sandwiches on the day they expired. And I was like, let me take them home. I'm hungry. Like, I need this food. And they were like, we can't. And I was like, this is awful. You guys are awful. Like, they're like, we legally have to throw them away. It was wild. But yeah, I worked at, before the Northeast Little Griddle was Little Griddle, it was Daruma Sushi. And I worked there rolling sushi just like
Okay.
a few days a week.
All right.
And the guy who owned it was closing it. He moved it up to Killingsworth Street because he thought this location sucks. It's slow, and it was slow. So the sushi bar was kind of dead. We had good sushi. It was a nice vibe, but it was often nights that we'd have like 7 customers, and we'd
Yeah.
just be chilling in there watching like movies on our phones. Like it was not popping at all. So he told me the rent was cheap, just like kind of in conversation, like, oh, the rent's cheap, and maybe I'll turn this into a ice cream shop or something. And the rent was like $950.
Oh, wow.
For the space.
Yeah.
Because it's 600 square feet, 1 bathroom. Like nowhere. It lacks a lot of things. The AC didn't work. A lot of things.
This is back in 2017, right?
2017.
Okay.
The rent's super cheap, and I was like, that's interesting. Because I never wanted to own a restaurant. Like, I was a line cook. I used to sell weed and cook breakfast on the weekends. Like, that was my whole that was my whole thing. And you kind of think that your 20s are gonna last forever, and so you're just like, whatever. I'm happy with this. But then I was like, they legalized weed, one, which thank God, but also like my job was over. Like,
Yeah, there's really no reason to be hitting you up.
never.
To,
It went
to
from
pick up a bag when I can go to the
No.
dispensary and probably get like a better deal on it too.
Wait, yeah, I mean, it went from being like this really awesome job where like I didn't have to do anything, kind of, and then it was gone, like
Yeah.
overnight, like within a week it was over, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So I realized I needed to pivot, and then that's kind of like serendipitously, like a few months later, this guy was like, oh, by the way, the rent's cheap here.
Yeah.
And I thought he would just kind of laugh me out of the room because I didn't have any business acumen, and I maybe still don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was just like, well, would you be interested in talking to me about this space? I have some ideas. And he said, okay. So we talked, and that's kind of how that happens.
And when you said that you were cooking breakfast on the weekends, selling weed, cooking breakfast at Cup and Saucer then?
Cup and Saucer. I worked at Jam. I worked at Gravy.
Okay.
You
kind of did the runaround.
I've worked at a lot of restaurants in Portland. I worked
Okay.
at the Fireside up in Northwest, cooking like fancy food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you move to Portland from? Or are you
Olympia,
Okay.
Washington. Yeah.
All right. So still
Not-
Pacific
not too
Northwest,
far.
not too
Yeah,
far.
Yeah.
When did you just get into cooking as a like line cooking just as a job?
When I was 16, my dad owns a landscape company, so he knows a lot of people that he did jobs for and whatever. And he did a job for a guy who owned a burger restaurant in Olympia, a drive-through, like a little, diner, whatever. So when I was 16, my dad's like, happy birthday, you start this job tomorrow. And I was like, all right, cool. When I was younger than that, I worked at the gun club where I would like load the targets for the shooting range.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they yell pull, and then the thing shoots out the clay pigeon.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. We would just do that on the weekend. I'd sweep up shotgun shells and like whatever. But yeah, I got a job cooking burgers when I was a kid, just because that's what my dad knew the guy who owned it and
Yeah.
put me in there. And I was like, I actually kind of like it, man. Everybody here is like, everybody had like been to jail, you know, like
Yeah.
everybody was kind of like weirdos, and I vibed with that. I thought it was awesome, so I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you, outside of like maybe the people that those types of jobs like attract sometimes, like what else do you think you liked about it?
There's a lack of pretentiousness, I guess. Like you can definitely find that in restaurants, and sometimes that's really good too. You work at a really nice restaurant and everyone is like buttoned the fuck
Yeah.
up, you know, but like I don't love highly structured environments. I didn't like school for that reason. I don't like to be told do this right now when I say it, when I want you to do it. Like you have a lot of freedom in cooking. It's so much creativity to be like, oh, what about a new way? What about, you know? So I think I just liked the kind of free form. I'm a lot better on the seat of my pants than I am in like a highly regimented
Yeah.
space. So yeah, I mean, the people are weird, which is cool, but also you can kind of express yourself freely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were going to like continue on with that like throughout your life, like once you started doing it, or was it kind of more of like, these are cool jobs to have while I'm doing my other stuff? Because I know you play a lot of music.
Yeah. I think that I am a little bit of a path of least resistance type of person, so it just made sense to kind of keep doing it. I did take a break when I was like 18. I got a job working for the state of Washington in a mail room, like sorting mail, like making stamps practically, you know?
Okay.
Like I thought that I needed to grow up, I
Yeah.
guess, you know?
Yeah.
So I did that for a few years, but it was so dumb. It was super boring. Like I would just like do data entry or like sort rubber bands. Like if it was slow, instead of like doing anything important, I'd be like, what can I do that's important? Like, how can I help? And they'd be like, you can sort these rubber bands, like small rubber bands, medium rubber band. It was nuts. Like I couldn't imagine. I was young and I would just look around at like, this is part of where I started to learn to think that, you know, this is the hot take. Well, it's not a hot take, whatever. That the government is stupid. Like I was like working for the state government and being like, oh my God, this is so inefficient. This is mind blowing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on. They're paying me to sort rubber bands. Like, this is crazy. This is
Yeah.
where my tax dollars go to. So I did that for a few years and was like, I got to get out. So I retired, which was cool. You can take your retirement at any time. I learned
Like
that.
in a government job like that?
Any job, actually. If you have a 401k, you can say, I want it. Give me the money.
Yeah.
And it's penalized like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
heavily, but I needed the
I
money.
unfortunately know.
Yeah.
I unfortunately know how much it is penalized.
Right.
Judd.
So I retired when I was 22. I was like, I'm going back. I'm moving to Portland and I'm going to go cook again because that just feels more like who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that, you know, you mentioned that you're like, oh, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna get this like office job or like this more like 9 to 5. It's just so interesting that people maybe look at a line cook job or a job in a restaurant and like don't see it as this adult thing or
100%,
like,
yeah.
and it's just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, my dad was definitely on that. Like, when are you gonna get a real job? And now that I own this restaurant, he's constantly like, I always knew you were gonna do something. You know, I'm just real proud. I'm like, did you? You're a liar. You know, you're a liar. Yeah.
So you like developed some cooking aspirations then, like when you took that break and you did the mail thing and you're like, I'm gonna dive back into it.
Yeah, I just was like, I actually like doing this, and I want to just. I don't want to be in this super structured environment anymore.
Yeah.
It just felt so stagnant and suffocating. So I moved to Portland. I knew one person here, and I just came down here. Rent was cheap. It was the same as I was paying Olympia. So I paid $300 a month for the room that I moved into in Portland, which is like obviously a thing of this was 2011. So
Okay.
that's no longer the case.
Yeah, I moved here in 2013, and you could still get 1-bedroom apartments for like $600.
I know. I used to pay $300 a month, and I had a friend, and she had a studio, and it was $525. And I was like, "What are you, crazy? Like, why would you pay $525 a month for your own place if you could just get a room for $300? You know, like $525 a month for like anything anymore. Like for Netflix feels like a good deal anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
No doubt. So did you ever have any formal cooking training, or was it all
No.
just getting line cook jobs and learning at each place sort of thing?
Definitely that. And I mean, really, like, it's like cooking is a very different profession from like other things that you can go to college for. Like, you can either get paid to learn how to cook or pay someone to learn how to cook. You could never do that as like a doctor. You know, you can't just be like, I'm gonna be a doctor's apprentice. And they're not.
Right.
You have to go to school. Lawyers, doctors, engineers, all those things. You can't just like just do it and then learn it. Cooking school is a scam, and a lot of them got lawsuits and like shut down and stuff because they're like, oh, you'll be a chef when you graduate, and that's just like 100% not the case.
Yeah, you can't guarantee somebody a job like that.
No,
either, or just be like, oh yeah, you did the thing. Like
the culinary school kids were soft too because they know all the names of all the sauces and they know like but they don't know how to cook 300 omelets. You know what I mean? They don't know how to like get smashed, and that's mostly what a restaurant is. It's just like, how can you do it fast?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So do you feel like you handled the pressure of getting slammed pretty well? Or like, have you
fun.
always?
Maybe not always. I mean, I've certainly thrown shit across the room and like panicked and cried and like, you know, all the things. But like, I think it's fun to be challenged with like, it's like a big puzzle, you know, you get a whole bunch of things you have to make. And how do you plan it all like on the fly in the moment? It's like a real-time strategy kind of, you know, you just got to figure it out as you go, and it helps to have a good team and all the practice. Like, you can't do it your first day, but maybe your second day you're like, okay, I'm feeling a little more ready for this.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Do you like the unpredictable nature of it? Like, obviously, I don't know, you've been doing this a while with Little Griddle, like nearly 10 years. So I'm sure that you have some understanding of like, this is when the big rush is, but that doesn't always happen.
No, every day is
day.
different. The cool thing about this kind of industry is that like no 2 days are the same. You're always going to be like on the fly for everything, you know, like it's just like something's going to break, someone's going to call in, something's, you know, like there's always a new problem to solve, and it helps keep me engaged because I can't do a boring job. I'll lose interest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were there some people that you worked for that you felt like made a like positive impact on you, that like really taught you some shit?
Absolutely. Jake Martin, Ocean Jake, his name's not Ocean Jake, but that's what his name is in my phone. Jake was awesome. He was like I worked for him at the Fireside. He was the chef, and he taught me a lot about the more quality aspects of cooking, because until then I had just like worked at essentially like turn and burn restaurants, like just make the hash browns as fast as you can, or whatever. And so
Fireside a little more upscale.
Yeah, it wasn't like, you know, it's not like ultra fine dining, but you know, Wendy, who owns it, is great. None of these people will see this, but I'm gonna shout them out anyways, you know. But they had a space where you could learn things, and also it was still busy. You still got that, you know, try to make the most of the rush and get through, and, you know, by the skin of your teeth and all that. But yeah, Jake was really cool. Jake and Brandon Hirahara, he owns Cow now up on Alberta.
Okay.
Fantastic Hawaiian food. But Brandon was the sous chef, and these guys were just like miles above anybody else I'd worked with before. I was like, holy shit, these guys are real. I'd watch them cut vegetables, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, you don't just do whatever, you know, there's like a method to this.
Yeah.
So I feel like I learned some things and from those guys and from everybody, really. I mean, like the guy I hired at Little Griddle, when I first realized that we were like gonna get the lease, and and this was going to happen, I called a guy that was my sous chef. I worked at Bit House Saloon. Do you remember Bit House?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I worked there for a little while. I made $11 an hour, and it was awful, so I left. But I worked with this guy, Ryan, and Ryan was great. He was really good at cooking, and he was also just kind of like a really cool guy. So I was like, Ryan, you want to be my chef?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to open this restaurant with me? And because he had taught me a lot, too. He was just like, he didn't need a recipe. He'd just be like, dude, you just do this, you do this, you do this, and it'd be delicious every time. I was like, okay, shit, like, I want this guy. So I hired Ryan for that.
Do you like that aspect of cooking too? That like you can kind of just roll with how you want to do things sometimes, and it'll still come out right. Like obviously, I know that you have to, especially with what you're doing, you have to create consistency. But I feel like with cooking, there's some leeway.
There is,
where like with baking, you don't get that.
No, baking
leeway
is
most
science.
Of the time. It's
Cooking is a little more on the art side, I guess. Like, for a long time, we didn't have recipes. Like, I didn't have a recipe book. We were just like, okay, this is how we make it, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like me and 2 other people, and we were the only people that made it. And eventually, we had to, like, make a real recipe book, you know?
Yeah.
But I still don't use it for the most part.
Yeah.
But I make everybody else use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Was there with those people that you mentioned that like had a positive impact on you? Do you feel like there was a certain approach to the way that they would like teach you things that you responded well to, or was it more of just like observing how they operated in those spaces?
I think it was more that. Like, it wasn't like these were like it's not often you'll find like a mentor in a restaurant. It's not typically that way. There's not time for that. Like, you have to kind of watch and learn. And sometimes you'll find a guy that's like, hey, bro, I see something in you, you know, whatever. But that wasn't really the case. It was just like I would watch these people who knew more than me, like, just do crazy stuff. And I was like, wow. And I still have so much to learn. And you know, I wish I could still work with some of these guys. But I even tried to have that happen. When we were going to get the lease for the Northeast restaurant, I wanted it to be a fancy restaurant. So I called Brandon, I called Jake, these guys that I knew were just fantastic chefs. And I was like, hey, I'm going to open a restaurant. Do you want to be a part of it? And they were like, no. You know, like, I have a job. That sounds insane. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know, like, what? You know, because I had been nothing. I was just a line cook. I couldn't get a lead line cook job or a sous chef job. I would apply, and they would be like, nah, you know.
Just pretty competitive in
No,
that,
dude, I think that I'm kind of goofy, and I think, I don't really know. I can't say why people never gave me a more responsibility, except for that I'm a little bit goofy, and I just was like, you know, I just sold weed and cooked eggs on the weekends. Like, I don't know. I think that they were just like, this guy doesn't really care.
He's not dedicated.
He's not dedicated, but I was dedicated, and I was a good cook, but I could never get a real job besides just like rolling sushi or flipping eggs, and I was good at those things. But so when I wanted to make a fancy restaurant, everybody was like, no, dude, I'm not going to do that. And so
they're not jumping ship to go
sign
up for your new endeavor.
Right. So then I realized I had to be the chef, and I was like, okay, fuck. If I'm the chef, we're making breakfast. This is the thing that I know the most. So I was like, we're making breakfast. I'm going to hire Ryan, and we are going to do it.
Yeah. How long did you have to open the restaurant? Like, once you started negotiating and figuring out that you could even like potentially afford to sign this lease?
We didn't have that much money, so we needed to get open as quick as possible. And the guy who was my original business partner, the guy who put up he put up like $12,000 of his own money, and he got a loan in his name. He wanted us to. It was October 13th that we signed the lease, and he's like, "We need to be open by Halloween." And I was like, "That's impossible." Like
2 weeks.
I was
basically.
like that. I was like, "Dude, it's impossible. We can't be open by Halloween. Like, I don't have anything." So we opened. It took us less than 2 months though. We opened on December 2nd.
Okay.
From October 13th to December 2nd, so like 7 weeks.
When you signed the lease, were you still having this vision that you were going to open more of like a fine dining spot, or had you already figured out that wasn't going to happen?
I think I'd already figured out that wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
Because it was negotiations for a couple weeks before that. Like, I talked on the phone for 3 hours to the guy who had the sushi bar, Andy Diaz, who is rad. And I talked to him for 3 hours, and I'd probably never talked to him for 30 minutes in the whole time I worked for him. So we talked for 3 hours about the logistics, about what he wanted to get. We paid him $18,000 for the lease. In turn, he gave us some tables, some ovens. Both of the ovens exploded, by the way. But he gave us some tables, some ovens, an espresso machine that also exploded. And he just kind of set out the parameters of like how this deal can go forward. So then I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to come up with this money? Like,
Yeah.
I need $18,000. I have $1,100 to my name. Like, I don't have this kind of money. So, so I had to reach out to some people and just start making plans for like, is this possible?
Yeah.
You know?
And what made most sense to you was to just cook what you know.
Cook what I know, and
Rock
I
breakfast,
yeah,
lunch.
yeah, and I partnered with a guy who can be difficult, but who is determined to make money, you know. And we didn't last as a partnership for very long, but he was instrumental in getting the restaurant off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did he participate in the operating? The
Yeah, he worked in
operations of it?
he worked
Okay.
in the front of house, and I
Okay.
worked in the back of the house.
All right.
It was just me, him, and Ryan, my chef, and then we hired a couple people to like help us on the weekends. He was the front, I was the back. We were 50-50 partners in the business. I was all sweat equity. I didn't put $1 in
Okay.
because I didn't have $1.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of money. He quit his job. He worked at Oracle, I think. He had like a fancy job making $90K a year or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck it, I want it because I want to own a restaurant, you know?
And he trusted in you.
He trusted in me, and he trusted in himself. He's confident, cocky perhaps, but we did do it, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think the fact that you have a second location and it's nearly 10 years later is a testament
Yeah.
that you did do it.
Little
dude.
Griddle made
Like,
it 8 years.
That's
and
fucking awesome.
It's wild to think because it doesn't feel like it, right? It feels like brand new still. I'm like, time is hard to comprehend in that
Yeah.
way.
So what did that 2-month time span look like? Were you doing a lot of like R&D in your own kitchen of developing that menu? I know like you obviously
Kinda,
like
yeah.
you obviously, you know, had that background of like knowing breakfast, but I can't imagine you had every single
No.
item on the menu dialed in. So like what did that look like to develop that initial menu, and like how many, like were there the same amount of items on the menu that exists now, or was it a little more simplified?
It was way less. It was basically me and Ryan Perman, and we, with like notebooks and cigarettes, we would just like write down stuff. This thing could work, this could work, this could work. And then we would go to Fred Meyer and buy some stuff and then go cook it at the restaurant. We bought a bunch of little induction burners, which we still use. And we would just go to the restaurant and try things, cook things. And once we felt like we had like a smallish menu, like maybe 12 things, we would do tasting sessions. Like I'd have 5 people, you know, like my best friend from middle school's dad came, like Dodger came, my friend Dodger came, and all these people came to just like eat some breakfast,
Yeah.
you know, and we would just test stuff out. I would test stuff out on the towel guy that brought our deliveries and just like whoever was around.
Did you also want to make sure it was like kind of like a wide net of people?
Yeah,
Or,
for
like,
sure.
So that you could take into account like a lot of people's different palates for things. And
Yeah, we did 3 different seatings where we had like 7 people come and sit down, and we made everything on the menu and just like put it out on the table like Thanksgiving style kind of.
Yeah.
Just said, okay, eat this stuff. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
And then we were also painting and shopping for, you know, what's it gonna look like inside? How are we gonna fix it up? I met this guy Joe who is like a fantastic carpenter, and we had him in there all the time, sawing stuff and nailing stuff, just doing carpentry shit and like making the restaurant how we wanted it to. It was strange to be able to say, I want it like this, and that's how it would be. It was weird for the first time in my life to have like authority, sort of, You know, like
Yeah.
the control to be like, put this here, and
Yeah.
then like it gets put there. I'd never had.
You're the leader.
Yeah, I'd never had that role ever. You know, so we had to learn. I had to learn as I went on how to do that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've developed like an approach and a style to leadership now?
Yeah, I mean, you learn, at least like speaking for me, speaking for myself, you learn how you want to like be a boss based on past experiences. Like I've worked for people that I didn't enjoy working for, so I'm like, I'm not gonna do it like that. And I work
Yeah.
for people that I did like working for, so I try to do it like this a little bit. I'm hands off for the most part. Like I'm there in the restaurant all the time, but I'm hands off, and like I don't micromanage people. I don't see, because I don't like being micromanaged. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I didn't like sorting rubber bands and having someone watching over my shoulder. Like that one should go in the left pile. Like,
Yeah.
I try to just let people be who they are and give them like a parameter to fit it into. Like this is what it should look like. How you get there is up to you.
Yeah.
You know, I'll hold your hand as much as you want me to, but ideally we all just kind of have our own creative expression to put into it.
Yeah. Does that approach have to be a little bit different when you're bringing cooks on though? Like so that there is the consistency?
Hiring cooks is the hardest thing in the world. So
Biggest challenge of your your job as like a restaurant owner?
yeah, hiring. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's the biggest challenge, but it is the hardest position to find a person who can fit in well and also make the food well. And it's just a weird industry, and cooks are weird people, and so it's hard to find the right ones.
Yeah.
But no, I still approach it the same. Like, yes, the consistency is, we have the recipe book, we have the guideline of like, this is how it should look. I'll just walk somebody through something 19 times if I have to. But like when it comes to the day-to-day things, like I just want to be a little bit hands off, like let you, if you like to keep the cheese on the left side instead of the right side, like people like to have their little intricacies, and
No
as long
doubt.
as we hit the same mark of like, this is what the food is, right?
Yeah.
This is what it looks like, this is how it tastes. And if it gets made wrong, you just say, hey bro, next time add a little more salt.
Yeah.
Or don't do it like this. But like I don't want to be, I'm not all up in somebody's face all the time. Like I don't raise my voice. I've had you know, I don't know if you ever worked with anybody who yells at you.
Oh, yeah.
Freaks
Yeah.
out. Like I've had bosses call me idiot, all these things, and I'm like, dude.
Oh man. I've worked some restaurant jobs.
Yeah.
Done some line
Chefs
work.
who yell and throw and all this shit. Like,
And not even, sometimes it's like not even the chefs, but like some of the other people you're working with too.
Yeah.
That like lose their shit and have like gnarly tempers, and you're like walking on eggshells around them.
I had a guy recently apply. I was looking for a cook, and one of the angriest, worst people I ever worked with sent their resume in, and I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Like,
Do you think that they knew that you owned the spot?
I don't think so.
Like they wouldn't have if.
This guy wanted to fight me. He was like, I'm going to come into the restaurant and I'm going to fight you. Because he was crazy, you know? And he sent his resume in, and I was like, oh my God. I wanted to arrange an interview with him, like out in Beaverton, and never show up. Like, just like, I wanted to prank him, you know? But
He was that awful.
he was horrible, but I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I just didn't respond.
Yeah.
But I got to know in my heart. I was like, oh, you're looking for a job again, aren't you? That's nice. Interesting. I wonder why.
Yeah. But your thing is like, all that needs to happen is that everybody needs to reach the same result as far as like
I
the
think
food that's
so.
coming out. It doesn't matter if you have the cheese on the left or the right, or like you're not going to be like super rigid on like, these things all go here, and this is like, you need to operate in this exact way.
No, I don't do it like
Yeah.
that. And I think it lets people be who they are, because you can't. At the end of the day, this isn't. You know, it's both like the most important and the least important thing in the world. Like, you're feeding people; it's so important, but it's
Yeah.
also like, it's not a big deal. It's just bacon and eggs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. You know, I don't want people to feel stressed out about your shirt needs to be on this way, and I just like, I want it to be comfortable to be there.
I asked Al about like why he likes working for you.
Oh,
and
did you?
That was like the big centerpiece of it. Honestly, was that like he said that I think like that he thinks everybody like feels like pretty free to like really be themselves there, and that you are not. I don't know. You're obviously want people to provide like a good experience, but it's not a fucking like Chili's and the customer is always right. Like,
Absolutely.
kind of
Customers
shit.
are wrong so often.
You do not like have to treat somebody with respect that doesn't treat you with respect kind of shit,
100%.
And like,
I would fight a customer if I had to.
but I think that's like almost, I don't know. I appreciate that boundary, like I like working for people that can see that too, like, and I've had the opportunity to work for people like that where they know who I am and I'm representing their business, but they know that there's like a line, and like if this person gets shitty with me, like there's no more like
get him out of here.
You're right. It's like, nah, dude.
Yeah, get him out of here. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I worked in restaurants for so long, and then when it switched, and all of a sudden I was the owner of the restaurant, I was like, okay, well, I'd like this to just be a restaurant I like to work at, and I'm sure I don't always succeed at this. I've had employees who have left working for me and not enjoyed the experience. You can't please everybody, and I have failed at many things and will continue to do so likely. But I try to make it a nice place to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of always the vibe I get if I am in there getting some food. It feels like a pretty like laid back environment. I know that restaurants can be tough when it's slammed, and people do have to like really lock in, and sometimes it's harder for people to do that, and they don't respond as well to that, and especially when they're newer to those environments and not everybody is cut out for it. I've like watched people fail in those situations, and they can't maintain any sort of composure with it.
Some days you just don't want to lock in either. Some days you don't feel like it. It's not every day. Some days I don't want to go to work at all. I'm sure we all feel that way.
Yeah. Is it pretty easy for you to maintain your composure though?
I don't have a choice. So because of that, at least I feel like I don't have a choice. I can't be like, just the other day we have a newish cook, and it's really busy, and it's just me and him, and I can see in his eyes that like he's losing it, he's on the edge.
Yeah.
And so am I, to be honest, because it's really busy. This guy's not. He's not ready yet. I'm trying to do everything, but I can't lose it, because if I do, then he does, and then the whole thing's over. So.
You don't want to know that the person running the thing is freaking out.
Yeah, totally. So I don't really have a choice but to be like the cheerleader in some ways. Like there are a ton of days where I want to say, fuck this shit. Like this place sucks. Everything sucks. But I'm not allowed to. I don't allow myself to feel that way, or to express that I feel that way anyways. Like I have to be like, it's going to be okay, guys. We got this, So it's easy enough to keep my composure, because I feel like it's like one of the core tenets of my job.
Yeah. What do you think makes a good cook? And what do you think makes a good server?
Oh, geez. I think a good cook needs to have attention to detail and to like doing it. It's not hard, right? Like it is hard, but it's not hard. You just like, especially when you're cooking in a restaurant, it's a lot harder to cook something from scratch at your house. You're like starting from nothing. In a restaurant, for the most part, you have a prep cook who's got everything like taken 80% of the way for you already. You have to just finish it. You heat it up, you plate it, you garnish it, you make it look nice.
You follow the process.
So I think a good cook needs to just want to do it and be able to think quickly. And I don't know, a good server just has to be able to handle 74 million people talking to you all the time. Like I don't like working on the floor, and I've done it a lot of times, but you walk by and you're carrying all this shit. And I remember one day I walked by every single table I walk by. Excuse me, can I get this? Excuse me, can I get this? Also, hey, could I? And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Like, I can't imagine, you know, it's so hard to listen and to talk that much.
Yeah.
Like to be able to 7 hours straight of just, oh yeah, I'll be right over. What would you guys like? You want hash browns or you want potatoes? We don't have hash browns, by the way. So don't think that you can get them there. But yeah, to be able to be a good server, you have to just be able to deal with people, and that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
for sure.
Tolerate all of
people
these
are insane,
requests.
And brunch is so uncivilized too. Like when you go to dinner, everyone is like adjusted to the day, and they like put on, you know, their little dinner outfit, and they have like a cocktail, and they have time to like feel prepared. Brunch is like, fuck you, I'm hungry.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of people that just woke up.
They just woke up. They want their like. It's ridiculous. People are like, they'll like try to cut in line. You'll be like, oh, I'm looking for Sarah for 2, and some lady named like Diane will be like, that's me, and then they'll steal their table. Crazy, uncivilized, nuts.
Did you run into that, or do you run into that more in the Northeast location where it's smaller? Or
I don't know. People are just nuts.
Does it make a difference?
It doesn't make a difference. Brunch is uncivilized. It's the least civilized meal of the day. It's fucked.
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
So, going back to the early days, what, aside from like knowing that you wanted to do a brunch thing, like, did you have some sort of overall vision of like what you wanted the menu to look like? Like, were you trying to do anything particularly different that you saw like there was a hole in the brunch scene, or were you just making a bunch of stuff that you personally like?
Kind of that. I mean, I was vegetarian at the time, so when you look at the menu, especially the Northeast menu, and especially like early on, a lot of things were vegetarian, and we didn't have any way to cook potatoes, really. So everything came with a salad instead of potatoes, which it still does.
That's why the salad.
Yeah, that's
thing
why
happened?
the salad, because we literally like, we didn't have a flat top.
Okay.
We had a panini press that was like 12 by 12, like a 1 foot little panini press guy, that you would normally make sandwiches, and we would use that to make, to like grill biscuits, you know, to grill toast.
Yeah.
So I wanted the menu to be like slightly nicer than some of the other places I worked. Like I didn't want it to be just like a turn and burn, you know, but I also wasn't going to make, I wasn't trying to like, I didn't want to be pretentious, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm not trying to be like, we are the fanciest brunch restaurant in town. So I just wanted it to be nice. You know, I don't think I had an exact idea, except for that I wanted it to be nice.
Yeah.
And then we had to adjust accordingly based on the equipment we had. We couldn't make potatoes. I didn't have a gas range. So like trying to do omelets and all these things, like I just really had to tailor it to the space that we had.
So that kind of like forced your creativity in a
Absolutely.
particular
It's so
direction.
small.
It's
like the kitchen is the size of a Multnomah County jail cell. We looked it up. So it's like so
I like that.
Yeah. So we're cooking in prison, and we just like
Limited gear.
limited everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have pancakes forever either because we didn't have a flat top. And then eventually I was like, we could fit a flat top. We could fit one. We just have to like move this and move this. And yeah, I mean, it's compact in there, and it still is. I mean, it's crazy. I don't normally work at the Northeast location, but when I do, I'm always like, what the fuck? Why is it so small?
Yeah.
Like, we tried to acquire the flower shop next door, and expand it, but she's super stubborn. She's not leaving. You know, like I want it. I still want it, and maybe one day we'll get it.
But for now, jail cell.
Jail cell. Yeah.
So did your after you got going for a while, did your ideals like around the restaurant have to change a lot, or did it just kind of seem to be working from the jump? Like the neighborhood was just supporting it?
Yeah, we just like opened one day without telling anybody. We just like took the tape off the windows and put a little sign outside, and I think that day we had like 12 tables, which was crazy because like still I don't even understand like who came in, like who just walks by a place and just like, I'm gonna go in there, you know, like I don't do that, but that's okay. So we did maybe 12 tables our first day, and then so that was December, and in December we did $10,000 in sales, and I was like, wow, $10,000, that's crazy. And then in January we did 20, and I was like, wow, $20,000, you know, and like we're not making very much money on any of this. Our menu prices were way too cheap, and our labor prices were too high. Like we didn't know what we were doing, you know what I mean? Like I used to make gravy, and I'd throw it away every day. I don't know why I didn't think that the gravy could last more than one day. Yeah, it definitely can. So I would make gravy in the morning. I'd make a gallon of gravy. I'd sell like half of it, and then I'd throw the other half away. So just learning as we went. But definitely within a couple of months, it felt like we're pretty established. You know, like people were liking what we were doing. We were listening to feedback and adjusting accordingly. People were like, oh, this isn't that good. I'm like, okay, cool. Scrap that. The stuff that didn't sell too, like we had a sandwich that no one ever ordered. And then we also had a sandwich that only this one guy ordered. He ordered it every day. And then we changed it one time because it was like only him that got it. And he came in and he tried the new sandwich, and he never came back. Chicken sandwich guy has still never been back. He was chicken sandwich guy. I changed the chicken sandwich. He never came back. I changed it back to the original chicken sandwich. I don't know if he knows that it's back. It's been back.
That's
for
that
years.
chicken sandwich that I always see coming out. It's like a massive.
No, the OG one, the braised chicken sandwich.
All right.
We changed it for a little while because no one cared about it, even though it was good. And that guy was pissed, and he's never come back. It's crazy. I think about that guy
Somebody
sometimes.
let him know the chicken sandwich is back.
It's been back for like 5 years even. But,
It's back.
Yeah, it's all right though.
So did you quickly have to hire some help then, since you guys were doing
For sure.
well?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or at least staying steady?
Yeah, we were.
Sounds like?
We were busy. The weekends were busy. I mean, it was constantly like, what's the next record? Like, can we do $2,000 in a day? Can we do, you know, like what? How far? Like the first time that we ever got busy, we had to close at noon, and we had done $800 in sales, and I was like, okay, we're not prepared. Like we can't run out of food at noon only doing $800. Like $800, that's fantastic. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But like, we got to be able to last longer than 4 hours in the service. 3 hours. I think we opened at 9. We closed at noon.
It's not a good look.
No. So we just had to adjust constantly and like set new goals. And then we'd bring on people. I mean, I have I've done like a Polaroid series I have a Polaroid picture of almost everyone who's ever worked there, you know, and the stack is getting big. There was a lot of people in the beginning that just like came on, worked a few shifts, you know, helped us get over the learning stages. Yeah.
How much of that initial menu still exists?
Almost all of it. Yeah. I'm not a big, some restaurants change their menus all the time. And for me, once I find a thing that I like at a place, that's what I'm going to get every single time.
Well, especially with, I think like a brunch thing.
Yeah.
You know, I would assume that you have a lot of regulars.
Indeed, for sure.
And like those people are coming back for the same thing. It's like, I don't know. Maybe if I'm going out for something that's like a little more elevated, like dining or something, it's cool to know that I can go in there if I'm going to, you know, drop $75 to like $100 a head, that I can get some
you want to
different
feel like,
stuff.
oh, the chef's got something new, crazy cooking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know why this food's so expensive.
We've expanded the menu sop, but we haven't really taken much away. Like the original menu's still there, almost entirely, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about this corn cake?
The corn cake, I stole it from Cup and Saucer.
Oh, really?
Well, with her permission, but like that's why it's called the Cup and Saucer corn cake.
Oh, okay. I had like never. I don't know. I never had any like a pancake in that style, I suppose, until AL was like, you got to try one of these corn cakes, and they're vegan, right?
Vegan and gluten free. Yeah. That was Karen Harding. So she opened Cup and Saucer in 1988, which is the year that I was born.
Okay.
So then I worked for her in 2011, and then in 2022 we took that space and turned it into Little Griddle. So it was like a real full circle moment for me, and it was crazy to be like, this restaurant has been here my entire life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And to be able to continue that on, it feels like serendipitous. I don't know. Like, it's just strange to be like, I was born when this restaurant was born, and then I was here when it died. You know?
And you are responsible for its second life. It's
absolutely.
a new era.
Yeah, totally. And it took a long time for it to not feel like Cup and Saucer in there anymore. Like, I kept having like, because I didn't, when I left Cup and Saucer, I left for a reason. I didn't want to be there anymore,
Yeah.
you know? And so when I came back, I was like, oh my God, I don't like to go backwards in life, like in all things really. Like, it's hard for me to, like, I don't like going back home for that. It feels like just stepping into the past feels strange for me. So
Yeah.
stepping into the past in this restaurant, I was like, oh geez, this is feeling claustrophobic. Like, I need to like paint everything and move everything and like change everything. But it doesn't feel that way anymore. It took a while. It took like 6 months maybe where I didn't feel like I was working at Cup and Saucer again. Yeah.
What year did that expansion happen for you?
2022.
Okay.
So we were going to do it earlier too, but then COVID. We were going to do it in 2020.
Okay.
Karen bought out my original partner, Yassel, in the middle of 2019. We opened at the end of 2017. Him and I made it like a year and a half. We got a divorce. And in the process of us getting divorced, I needed someone to buy him out because he was ready to go. I was ready for him to go. It was like mutual. We're like, all right, this isn't working. The restaurant's great, but like we're going to kill each other. So so I called Karen and I was like, hey, what's up? And anyway, she bought him out. And then we were quickly just going to take, because Cup and Saucer was on its last legs and she knew that and it was okay. Like she's like, I've been doing this for 30 years. Like I'm good.
It being on its last legs, like, was it just not very busy?
It wasn't very busy anymore. I mean, like nothing lasts forever, right? Like Cup and Saucer had a huge heyday in the like late 90s, early 2000s. The place was crazy. I worked there in 2011. The place was crazy.
Yeah.
But like, it's really difficult. I can't even imagine. It's difficult for me to run this restaurant for 8 years, 35 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to, I can't imagine how hard it is to keep your heart in it.
When it's not doing well too.
And it's not doing well. And are you gonna pull it back from the brink for the like 11th time? You know what I mean? Like how many rounds can you go as a boxer? You know what I mean? Like eventually you're just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
This okay. Nothing lasts forever. So in 2020 we were gonna flip it, and then we were like, just kidding. Hold on. You know, like COVID happened, everything shut down, and we just waited until it was like run its course.
Better timing too. Yeah. Was that transition pretty smooth since you had like kind of a structure already created and you were just trying to replicate for the most part?
It was pretty easy to plan it. It was hard to execute it. It was really hard to hire the cooks for it. Like I was like striking out left and right with trying to get people to work there. Like I had a guy who, it was his first day and he called in because he was tired.
Classic.
He called in tired. He was like, man,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just really tired. I don't think I can come in today. And I'm like, I don't think that you can work here, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you can't call in tired on your first day. This is insane.
You haven't even started and you're tired. Not a good look.
Yeah, it was difficult to get the infrastructure of like who's gonna work there. And then I thought we were gonna open and it would just be crazy. Like I was like, oh yeah, everybody loves Little Griddle. Like the Little Griddle Northeast does so well that this Hawthorne place, people are just gonna jump for joy. But like they didn't. It was slow.
Yeah.
It was slow. People still thought it was Cup and Saucer. People and
I mean, like I told you in the beginning, is it Karen that had it before? Well, sorry I called your place mid, but
it was.
I that's why I never went there again, because I didn't realize there was a changeover. So
and
it wasn't until
mid,
like
and that's okay.
Yeah,
but like
but it
people had all these opinions of it, and they were just. It took a minute. We were slow.
tough to shake that.
It was tough to shake it, and even though it had a new name and a new look, like it still did look the same. We still had the same booths,
Yeah.
the same tables. You know,
Yeah.
I kept that shit's expensive. I didn't buy all new stuff. You know, like it stayed kind of the same.
Yeah.
On the inside, the food was totally different, but the transition to having a second restaurant, and I needed to. When you open a restaurant, you have to have you have to be ready for everything. Because the worst thing you can do is open the doors, say, everybody come on in, and you're not prepared. You don't have enough staff. You don't have enough food.
Yeah.
First impressions are huge, right? So
you don't get a lot of second chances with food, I feel like.
Yeah, so we had too many people working. We had not enough customers, and it was a tough first year at Hawthorne. It was slow.
Yeah.
The weekends would go pretty good, but like it just took a while to build it up.
Was there much to adjust to, I guess, like operating wise? Like, was it hard to replicate maybe the consistency of the other location?
A little bit, but not really, man. I set the kitchen up like to feel exactly the same, kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this is where it all went at the last place. So like it's bigger now, but like I tried. What was hard to do is it was hard to like adjust to the amount of customers we were gonna have.
Yeah.
Because the potential is so much greater. There's 40 more seats in the Hawthorne restaurant than the little one. So trying to like guess the pars, trying to just figure out like trying to adjust to how quickly, because you can seat all 14, like every once in a while we'd seat all 14 tables at once, and I'm like, oh my god, there's 60 people in here, like this is a lot of food to make.
Yeah.
Those were the hard things to get used to, but like the layout, we tried to make it like exactly the same.
Is there different challenges of being in such a touristy neighborhood for you? It's like Hawthorne is still a pretty touristy neighborhood, I would say, of Portland. A lot of people come here and they're like, oh, we got to go walk Hawthorne, or we got to walk Alberta or Mississippi, and like that east side neighborhood, you know?
We get a lot of people that don't come back. Like they put their name on the list and then they go and they walk away. They never come back. And like we get a lot of people too that we get people whose perceptions of Portland are skewed.
Yeah.
I had a guy like not that long ago, he's with his family, and this was when there's a lot of protests downtown.
Yeah.
And he's like, are we in Portland? And I'm like, yeah, we're in Portland. He's like, well, we're not like in Portland though, right? Like this is like the suburbs. And I'm like, no, dude, we are in Portland.
This is just not downtown.
Yeah, we are in Portland. He's like, well, where's all the rioting? Where's the fires? And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, I feel like you're lying. This can't be like actually Portland. And I was like, bro, get a map. Like, it couldn't be more central Portland than we are at this exact moment.
Yeah. It's just this weird perception of like people that don't live in a city, or like they don't realize that not everything happens in that like downtown metropolitan kind of area where the high rises are. It's like there's an entire city outside of that area.
I like the tourists though. The tourists are easy to please.
Yeah.
It's harder to please. Your regulars are the ones that are important, and those are the ones you got to be consistent for. The tourists, they're kind of just like on a vibe. They're gonna go to Powell's, and then they're gonna get like a waffle from the waffle window, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, they're gonna go to Red Light and look at mannequins. Like they're pretty easy to please for the most part.
They're pretty stoked already.
They're stoked already, and even if you don't like hit the mark for them exactly, like they're building an experience, and they're like, we're here, we're making a TikTok, like. It's more like the people who are there on like a shitty rainy Tuesday morning, like those are the people who I'm like trying to impress.
What's it like for you dealing with these like current food costs, specifically like this egg situation?
Well, oh my god,
has that's gone down a little bit?
Indeed.
Okay.
Oh my god, the egg crisis of 2024 was like gonna put me out of business.
And so many places I would go and they would be like, it's a 75-cent surcharge for each egg on the menu. So
at the risk of boring you with math, like
no, I'm not.
In 2017, I paid $11 for a case of eggs, which is, mind you, 180 eggs.
Okay.
So like quick math, like I don't know, like what, like 10 cents an egg, 12 cents an egg, cheap.
Yeah.
Like astonishingly cheap even. And that price goes up, obviously, that's fine. So, like, by 2024, we're paying, like, $35 for a case of eggs. Chill. Pretty soon, a case of eggs is $150. So, it's like 14, 15 times more expensive than it was when I opened the restaurant. And I'm just, like, dying because I can't substitute it.
That's how you get by as a brunch,
the egg
breakfast
is
spot.
the meal. People come here to eat eggs. I mean, we're obsessed with eggs, and Portland's obsessed with brunch. And like, there's nothing I can do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to negotiate with I'm calling all these farms because I know that they'll sell them to me for cheaper because they're not affected by the bird flu, the supply chain problems that like the major producers are, and like nobody's answering the phone. Sorry, we're not taking new clients, that's what we're called. And so then I drive to I call this farm in Pacific City. They never answer, but I'm like, whatever, dude, I'm driving to your house. So I just drive to their house, and I pull up and I knock on the door, and there's a little kid that answers the door, and I'm just like, dude, can I talk to somebody about eggs? And this lady comes out, and I strike a deal with Zweifel Farms out in Pacific City. They're awesome. So they're selling me eggs for $80 a case, which is still more than double what I want to pay.
They still deliver out here and everything, though?
Yeah, they would come out every Friday and come to restaurants in Portland and deliver. And Zweifel was awesome. So I was trying to get my cousin Eddie to start farming chickens, which he did.
Trying to get the family
Because
involved.
Ed's a farmer. He's got this farm, Bode G Farms up in Washington, and he does cattle and shit. And I was like, dude, Ed, get chickens. Let's figure this out. And then the chickens thing ended up falling through before I ever bought an egg from him. But he did get 300 chickens, and he did start getting eggs. We could never figure out the logistics to get them from Puyallup down to here.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? How much is it going to cost? His cost was going to be too high. It was going to be too much for me. But the egg crisis was nuts. And that's just eggs, right? Everything's so expensive. It breaks my heart to raise my menu prices. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. It would be really cool if everything cost $10,
But it's just, you'll tank.
We won't have a restaurant
You won't
anymore.
be able to pay anybody.
No, we won't have a restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
So, I'm not in this business to get rich. Nobody, I think, that owns a restaurant, unless you're Bobby Flay or something,
Yeah.
People don't expect to make millions of dollars doing this,
Yeah. I think that's a tough thing for maybe a casual diner, a patron to understand, even if they see that their favorite restaurant is always busy. I think they instantly think oh, they must be doing so well.
Yeah, for sure. I used to think the same thing. I would when I worked at places, I'd be and the dining room's completely full. I'm like, these guys must be fucking rich, And I was wrong.
Yeah.
So, the food cost stuff is really difficult to manage because Cisco and all the, Provista, all the local purveyors and everything, they raise their prices all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They charge market value. I can't charge market value to I can't raise my prices every week.
Yeah.
I just have to eat it. If the price of everything goes up 40%, I just stay the same and eat that cost. And we just don't make money that month or that year or whatever. If we hadn't had a very good first few years of business, 2024 would have ended us for sure. And it did. It closed a lot of restaurants because you can't deal with the price. And the eggs are back down to $35 again. So it's amazing. That's how I have this fake fur coat. Eggs are affordable again, and it's great. We're doing Christmas bonuses. It's good.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which we always do, but some years it's a lot scarier to write the checks for because you're oh fuck. But yeah, food cost is awful. I mean, and it's always just it is what it is. Everything's. I mean, at the risk of getting too political, everything's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you attribute the success and sustainability to anything in particular? I feel you should be, if you're not, you should be fucking stoked that you've been you're almost a decade in.
I am stoked. I vacillate between being incredibly excited about it and then terrified for my future. What do I do next?
Just because this doesn't feel like something you could do forever?
No, just
or like
because
you
of,
watch Karen and Cup and Saucer like last
Right.
35 years and then it's just over.
Yeah, no,
and a
that's-
struggle for the last 10.
Yeah, that's the part, right? But no, I mean, what I attribute the success to is all the people that helped me do it. You know, I attribute some of it to myself because I had to stay like the stalwart, like I had to be present to do it.
Yeah.
But I could have never ever done it
Yeah.
without Justice Beaver, without Ryan, without Johnny, without all these people that like, you know, held it down when I was sick or when everything sucked. Like, we made it through COVID by playing Animal Crossing in the restaurant while it was slow. Like, I brought my Switch, I brought
Yeah.
the TV. I was like, we're just gonna chill in here, dude, and wait for orders. Like, it's gonna be fine. You
Yeah.
know? We played Mario Kart. I don't know what makes a successful restaurant though. Like, I've talked to some of my peers, other people that own restaurants, and they're like, we should sit down and you can tell me like how you guys are doing it. My restaurant's struggling. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Like, we're just busy, and I think that maybe it comes down to caring more, or like luck too. I think luck is huge in life. We were at the right place, right time. Portland loves brunch. That's
Yeah.
like a guaranteed thing.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not just a weekend thing. For like a lot of places, I think it is, and here it's kind of an everyday thing.
Portland loves brunch. I mean, it's part of what made me do it. It just felt like it was like recession proof, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, do you feel like since you did make it through the COVID thing that makes you feel a little? I mean, I'm sure you don't feel bulletproof. You were just talking about the fucking 2024 egg crisis, but
Yeah,
was that helpful in building some character for you? Like, yeah, we made it through a very weird, horrific time for
Yeah.
like a lot of businesses.
I think that, like, you know, knock on wood, but I think that it would take some crazy circumstances to break the restaurant at this point. You
Yeah.
know, my brother, he's a worrywart, and he sent me a Reddit article about like a Seattle restaurant that's like, we're struggling. I don't know how we're going to make it all. And a lot of restaurants are posting stuff like this and saying stuff like this. And
Yeah.
it's just the ebb and flow of life. Like, something dies and something is born, you know, like always changing. And he was like, well, are you guys doing okay? And I'm like, honestly, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be all right. Like, different month to month, things are crazy, and, you know, licensing and breakage of equipment. Like, there's always shit to do and to fix. And, you know, randomly they'll be like, oh, we got to pay $8,000 for this. Like, that
Yeah.
sucks. I didn't anticipate.
And you have to fix it.
You have
it's
to
part,
fix
it's
it.
an essential
Yeah.
part of your operation.
Like, it happens. Like, my water heater busted the other day. The grounding rods are like incompatible with, they need it to be bonded to the water line. Like, all kinds of stuff that I've learned a lot of stuff about fixing things and knowing like how to negotiate with contractors and, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, I don't even know what the question was, to be honest, bro. I'm totally
Oh,
spitballing
just
here.
no. You're answering the question.
Nice.
I was just asking you about like if you were, you know, if the COVID experience maybe
Yeah.
made you feel like you could handle a lot. You know.
It did, and also, I just think that, like I was saying, we're right place, right time, kind of, and we had such a cool group of people doing it that like we swung through that, and now I'm just like, I don't know what could stop us now.
Yeah.
You know, and I think probably every restaurant, every business even that made it through COVID, like, that wasn't supposed to. Like, pizza restaurants did great during COVID.
Yeah.
Pizza's fantastic for delivery. You know,
Right.
pizza did awesome. Like, online ordering places, like, you know, if you're on eBay, you're like, COVID rules, let's
Yeah.
keep it going.
Places that don't have a dine-in experience.
Yeah, breakfast travels so bad. Like,
Yeah.
poached eggs just get hard. Like, everything's like, pancakes are only good when they're hot. Like,
Yeah.
nothing is good for breakfast cold and shitty.
Like the only thing that you're typically like grabbing on the go for breakfast is like a bagel or a breakfast sandwich. Or,
Yeah,
you know.
totally. So we struggled, dude. It was like, we got like a PPP loan, which was super cool. I was in there like on my accountant vibe. Like I was like sitting at my laptop just being like, I'm applying for everything. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go like because I needed to. We had been doing so good through like 2019, but when COVID happened, and then I had to pay. I still owed some payroll. I owed loan payments, and then like pretty quick we had $1,000 in the bank for the restaurant. And I was like, we're fucked. It's over. You know, like if these loans don't come through, like I don't know what we're gonna do. We can't be open. If we were open, we'd be fine. You know, we were on a shoestring, but the shoes were big. We were chilling. Like it was gonna be fine. And then we were shut down, and we had like no money left, and we owed money. You know, I was like, oh, dude, what are we gonna do? My brother made a GoFundMe, raised like $4,000. That was awesome. And then we got that PPP loan, and I was like, everybody's back to work. We're all getting paid no matter what. So let's come in here. We're gonna, like I said, we were playing Mario Kart and waiting for customers, but we had the money to operate for a couple of months and not worry about if it was gonna like make money or lose money. And then we set up in the parking lot and like, you know, just wore masks and wiped all our menus down religiously, and it's crazy.
You still love cooking?
Yeah, I like cooking.
That's like if you're in the restaurant, that's usually where you're at?
Yeah, I like to do prep and I like to cook tickets. I don't. Sometimes it's hard to separate my experience, because a lot of days, a lot of weeks, I'm just cooking tickets, and that's what I always did. So sometimes it feels like nothing's ever changed.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't always want to just be cooking tickets forever. So like, sometimes it's hard to feel in the moment like I'm not 23 cooking tickets, cooking breakfast still, but I'm not, right? So I have to separate myself from that. But yeah, I love cooking. I mean, it's a blast. You can just put on music, wear your headphones, make weird food, put a tiny pancake in a giant bowl, like just do, you know, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Cooking is fun. And it's hard, and it's rewarding too, because you get to see, like, it's an instant gratification, which a lot of things, like if you send an email, there's no instant gratification, you know?
Yeah.
Your email is received, nice, whatever. But like, you make somebody food and you can just see them be so stoked on it. Like, that feels great.
It's like watching somebody play music. You get like
Absolutely.
that immediate.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that fucking ruled.
It's a lot like playing music, where you play a show. Like there's been so many, like I used to play in a band with AL for many years.
Yeah.
And
is that Siren in the Sea?
Mm-hmm. And like sometimes you're on stage, and I play drums with my eyes closed because I don't know why, but sometimes I would open my eyes and you look out at the crowd and they're fucking feeling it, you know? And you're just like, that's so cool. We're doing this right now. Like we're providing this experience for these people, and they're providing this experience for us. So cooking's a lot like that. You feed somebody and you see them be excited, and you feel good about yourself and about what you're doing. I mean, you're battling hunger. It's the war against hunger every single day, because we all got to eat, you know?
Do you feel like there are any creative parallels to your life making music? Obviously you have like a pretty like standard structured menu, but you got some specials here and there. Is that like where you get to flex your creativity, or do you just like not really even care about that being so much a creative space for yourself?
It's not the creativity, I don't think, comes out in the menu specials and stuff. For me, maybe for my cooks it does, because they'll get to mess around with menus and specials and just like, I made a new sauce or whatever.
You're like open to their ideas.
Yeah, for me the creativity for me now is like, how do I balance all of this? You know, how do I fix this problem? How do I manage all the things that are happening? You know, because it's a lot of things that are happening. People are, I mean, with, you know, like, it's hard to even explain, but like that's really where my creativity comes in, is problem solving anymore.
Yeah, you're operating a business. You're not just cooking food.
And I like cooking food, but it's cooking food and then like trying to make sure that everything else is there, because nothing happens if I don't make it happen, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like, I got to be able to make sure that like everything shows up and everybody is happy and that everything is legal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
the problem solving aspect is where I find that I can like find the joy in like the struggle kind of.
Yeah. Do you still like going out to eat?
Yes, but not for breakfast. I mean, I'd love to go out to brunch, but I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
That's like your life.
it's my
already.
life. And then plus, if it's my day off, I'm not like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to Gravy. I do love Gravy though. I think it's a cool restaurant, but
I've only been to Gravy once.
I liked working there. I worked there for a few months.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to go out to dinner though. I like to go out to the movies, but I don't really go out to brunch.
What are some of your go-to food spots in Portland?
Okay, I
What
used
are
to
your staples?
my staples. I used to love Ole Frijole. I was so sad that they closed. Do you remember Ole Frijole?
Where was that?
It was on 42nd and Killingsworth.
I don't think so.
I was
don't-
obsessed.
Okay.
I was obsessed. I was also obsessed with Rice Cafe, and they also
I
closed.
don't know about that spot either.
Rice Cafe was so good.
I'm kind of glad that I don't know about it because then I would just be
You'd be sad that they closed.
sad.
Yeah. I go to Plaza Koyakan all the time. It's on Hawthorne.
Where is that?
34. It's right next to Postal Annex. They're in like
Okay.
that little block of buildings there next to
Alright.
like the store that sells toys.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We get Rudy's Pizza delivered
Rudy's.
often. Rudy's is like Pizza Hut grown up,
Okay.
you know, and they're hit or miss a little bit.
All right.
They're hit or miss a little bit. Where else do we love to go? I like Cully Central a lot. Tron took me to Cully Central one time, and it blew my mind. Fantastic. It's like Lao food, Laotian food.
Okay.
Yep, they're really good. They have this crazy beef jerky that's so spicy, like horribly spicy. So yeah, I mean Plaza Koyakan. We go to Rudy's. We go to Cully Central. I like Killer Burger too. I rep Killer Burger hard. I think they're great.
Yeah, I think Killer Burger is pretty solid. I don't go there as often as I used to. Like when I first moved here. Also,
Yeah.
we had I worked at that Pizzicato in Westmoreland, and we had a pretty fucking sick food trade with
Oh,
Killer
sure.
Burger. So like
Yeah.
I felt like once a week we were trading pizza for burgers.
Yeah,
I do that really opened my eyes to throwing peanut butter on
Throw
a
peanut
burger,
butter on a
you know?
burger, definitely, dude. And I go to if I can get up to Alberta, I go to Cow Cow, my buddy's spot.
I'm gonna have to
So
cruise
good.
through there.
It's so
haven't
good.
been.
Yeah.
As far as your employees, you have like a lot of people who are involved in the arts.
For
Do
sure.
you feel like it's pretty important to you that you find ways to allow them that time, like if they have something going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are very few jobs in the whole world, if any, that like should come first over your life. You know, life is so short. Tomorrow's not promised. So like, if you have to go for 3 weeks to go on this crazy tour, like go do it, you know? Like the other thing about the service industry is like, people can just fill in. Like I got a roster of people that don't actually work for me that work for me. They'll come in and fill in for a weekend and I'll pay them cash or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. I don't, if the IRS is listening, we
Yeah.
never do that.
Yeah,
But
it's a gift.
it's a gift.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I think that your hopes and dreams should come before your job making Bloody Marys or whatever, you
Yeah.
know? Like obviously within the parameters though too of like I had a girl who worked for me who was great, but she wanted to leave for I think it was like 9 weeks. And she was like, I'm just gonna get all my shifts covered for 9 weeks. And I was like, I think that I just have to hire somebody else. And she was mad, but I was like, I can't.
More than 2 months.
It's too long. Like
Yeah.
other people are gonna need time off, and we're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to accommodate it because we're already covering you. And like, there are limits to it, but like,
Yeah.
for the most part, yeah, it's very important to me that everyone has their like. We have so many people in bands or artists or just everything, and like it's hard though too because I had to put my aspirations to like be some big time musician aside because I couldn't balance it anymore.
Right,
Like it
right.
just didn't work for me anymore. I found that like I was unhappy. Like we had a show and I'd be like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, wait, why do I not want to go to this? Like play the show. Like what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like, and my priorities had just changed.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun anymore. It felt like a chore, and that's like the last place that you want your creative outlet to feel like is a chore.
Definitely.
You know? So,
Yeah.
like, if this felt like a chore to you to come here today, like, oh, dude, I have to go do the podcast today.
Honestly, yeah, dude. I think about that often. And even if I do, sometimes I'll catch myself saying like, "Oh, I have to go do the podcast," and I'll be like, "No, I get to do the podcast."
Right.
You know, like
Yeah, that's ideally how it feels,
gotta
right?
flip it. You know, sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
And I couldn't get past that for myself. I had to quit the band. And I've since played, you know, I've played shows, but just not with the same frequency. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be having like twice weekly band practice and stuff. It just wasn't fitting my vibe anymore.
You have this whole thing.
Yeah,
that
and
is,
it's
like
chill.
very-
It's more chill now, but in the beginning it was all consuming.
Yeah.
You know?
but you're still you're finding your creative time, like in your free time you're doing stuff
Yeah,
you want to, and,
yeah,
and
of
still
course.
like making some music here and there.
Of course, yeah.
That seems like a good place to be,
It's not so
especially
bad.
if you're happy doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I like my job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine like that mentality with your employees like goes a long way with them.
I hope
You
so.
know?
I mean,
Like
I hope so.
I bet that's what keeps people around, like knowing that you also want that to be a priority for them, or like, I don't know. I appreciate that you're like showcasing different artists even like on the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
you
think that Branson does most of that these days, but we always want to just have cool art on the walls, and sometimes you get weird art on the walls though too. We had this lady who hung. She did. I don't remember her name, so it's fine because I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell on her if I wanted to, but like, she did these animal portraits, but they all had boobs, and it was so weird.
Is there like some sort of vetting process for this situation
dude,
that you're like,
I don't
if
know.
someone's putting art on the wall, like,
That's the thing. The person who was hanging the art, she was like, "Oh, check these out. I just hung them up," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I had to be like, "Please, no more animals with boobs.
Yeah,
Like, this is
yeah.
too. I don't know. No kink shaming, but like, let's get this out of here."
well, it is like a part of the aesthetic of your restaurant.
Indeed,
like in your
that was the
space.
thing.
So like,
That was the
it
thing.
does feel fair that like you're not like, oh, it's open. It's the open mic for visual artists. You just put up whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a line, but we get a lot of really cool stuff, and yeah, we get a lot of really cool artists that hang stuff, and we don't take any we don't take a cut of any of that either. We just say, okay, we make them sell it like cash or like through their own personal apps.
So you
that
don't have to deal with it.
I don't have to pay taxes on or anything,
Yeah.
because we used to run it through our system, but we pay credit card fees. So then
Yeah.
like someone would sell a piece of art for $500, and then I got to pay like $10 for that, and I'm like, well, this is dumb.
Yeah.
So just run it through your own stuff.
For sure.
And then it's just all, all yours or whatever. But we get a lot of cool. It's a great mutual exchange, because then I don't have to buy art to leave on the walls.
Yeah.
Artists get to hang their stuff, and we get a fresh new look like every couple of
Yeah.
months. Yeah.
Absolutely. How do you feel, Judd?
I
We
feel
covered
good.
I feel like we covered a lot.
Yeah. That sounds good to me, man.
Anything you
No, it's hard for me
anything
to
you
talk
didn't
about.
get off your chest.
No, it's hard for me
today?
to talk about myself for this long. I hope I don't come across as arrogant or anything. Like, it's hard to talk about myself for this long.
I literally invited you to come
Yeah.
talk about yourself. It would be very disappointing to me if you didn't have
Anything
much
to say.
So
Yeah.
I don't. You should not feel like if anybody thinks that you're arrogant
That's fine.
from talking about the things I asked you about, then
Yeah.
I think that they're in the wrong.
All right. Well, that's cool.
So-
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll put all the links in the episode notes so people can, keep up with the Little Griddle. Go pay a visit. Go have some brunch.
Yeah, please do.
Multiple locations to explore and support if you've never been through. It is no longer Cup and Saucer on Hawthorne.
It's definitely not. Yeah.
It's Little Griddle. And it's in a cool little spot. I love that section of Hawthorne is a great spot for me, because I know, well, now I feel like I know you a little bit better.
Sure, yeah.
So I know several of your employees. So
Yeah.
I love just going and sitting at the counter and bugging
Hey, y'all and Joey,
Leah and
yeah.
Joey, and just like chilling and having too many cups of coffee. But then like, I know my buddy Parker works at
I know Parker.
at Jackpot next door,
Yeah.
and then my friend Kendall works at the flower
I know
shop
Kendall,
next door. So
of course,
like, I feel
yeah.
like that's my perfect stretch.
Yeah, honestly,
neighborhood
it's
right
a
there,
that
dude.
location to have that restaurant, because I was able to get it through my business partner. I didn't have to buy. I think we paid her a lot less than I would have had to pay a
Yeah.
stranger to get that spot.
No doubt.
You know, primo location on
Yeah.
Hawthorne. Like, there is no better location for a restaurant on Hawthorne.
It's the coolest part of that street.
4-block strip.
You got Powell's right there. The
Yeah.
better Powell's location.
Way better Powell's.
If you do not want the overwhelming
Yeah,
experience.
Jackpot, Red Light, just like, remember the Goodwill boutique that used to be across the street?
Yeah.
And then it became Polar, and now I don't even know what it is. It was
Yeah.
Polar stuff for a little bit. That was used to get free socks. That was tight. Yeah, it's a perfect location, and I mean, I'm happy to be there. for
Hell
sure.
yeah, dude. Well, I think it's very cool that you have figured out a way to last this long in this industry, and not only like have what you started with, but to also have expanded to 2 locations now. You know, there's like so many of these spots that don't make it a year or two, and
Most restaurants don't.
you have found a way to
Yeah.
make it nearly a decade. So
We're not going to do 3 locations though. I want to open a movie theater. So if anybody has any ideas on how to open a movie theater,
okay.
there's already such good ones though, like
I know.
Academy, Hollywood, Laurelhurst, Baghdad.
I ride for a lot of those spots.
Me
Like,
too.
Specifically the Hollywood.
Of course.
I just had that dude, like the programmer on the podcast recently.
Amazing.
Like, that was
I live
very cool
across
for
the
me.
street from Academy, so we just walk across the street.
Dude,
and-
Academy rules.
Yep.
Like that's one of my favorite things about the city is like how many cool independent movie theaters we have.
But I want one. Clinton Street's awesome
Okay.
too. I used to smoke
Alright.
cigarettes in Clinton Street Theater after hours because it was like allowed. I was like, hell yeah, this
I'll
is
be on
great.
the lookout. You know,
I want one. I think it would be such a fun business to have, but I don't. I also want to open a bowling alley.
maybe both. Maybe those things are combined.
Yeah, movie theater on top, bowling alley on the bottom. I don't know, man.
However it works.
Yeah.
Basement bowling.
Basement bowling. I got a lot of ideas, but mostly I'm
Okay.
just gonna keep going with the restaurants and then
Alright.
see where it goes. You know?
Hell yeah. Judd, we end every episode of the podcast with the guest saying the tagline for the show. It's a program. It means nothing. It's just the way that my grandfather says the word program.
Okay.
So it's just a goofy way that I have each guest kind of end the show. So if we get the Judd Harris Little Griddle, it's a program. You can deliver it however you would like. It's the one time I'll ask you to look into that camera
Look
there
into
on
the
the
camera.
desk.
And say it's a program.
Yep.
It's a program.
He did it. He nailed it. It's Judd Harris. Little Griddle is the spot. Open every day.
Open every day.
All the other details are, wherever you find
Find 'em
things.
on the internet.
The
Yep.
internet has all of the information. It's I would encourage you to go support the spot, whether it's the Northeast location or the Southeast Hawthorne spot. Go check it out. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, absolutely, dude. Super fun. And that's the Jelly Jams. And we will catch you on the flip side, Portland, or wherever you are listening from. Cool.
Awesome.
We did it.
Nice.
Great job, dude. Thanks.